Good morning, Redeemer. I hope you are doing well. Thanks for checking in this morning with us. I know a lot of people are at the moment feeling maybe a bit anxious, a bit fearful in these times that are quite dark, but I really just wanted to encourage you today that in this darkness there is also light. And in the last week I've been reading the story of Joseph from the book of Genesis. And right at the end of the book of Genesis in chapter 50, he says something that really struck me, and I want to share it with you. In verse 20, he says, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." And I found that so interesting. Joseph had a very difficult, dark life, but instead of focusing on that, he trusted God, knowing that God would bring good out of the situations that he was in. And we look further in the Bible, in the book of Romans, we see that God promises this to us. He says that God works for the good of those who love him, and we can trust in this goodness too. Joseph, in that verse, he was looking back on his whole life and saying, God used this for good. And I am certain that when we look back on this time, we will look back seeing stories and testimonies of how God used this time for good too. But what I want to challenge us with today is to not wait till the end of this time to look back and reflect on God's goodness, but really to take time today to look at the goodness of God today and yesterday, because his goodness is here already for us to see. He is working within our lives and the lives of others around us for his glory. And we can really take encouragement from this. And so if you live with other people, or maybe you have kids at home, I'd really encourage you to take some time today and share stories of how you've really experienced the goodness of God, or how you've seen the goodness of God working in other people's lives at this time. If you're in a life group and maybe you have a WhatsApp chat, I'd also love you to put something in there. Share God's goodness with others. We can encourage each other and bring light into the darkness of people's lives by just sharing God and sharing what he has done for us. Let's worship him. Let's celebrate his goodness. I think that God is a light in the darkness, and we can celebrate him through the storm and have him with us, knowing and trusting that he is good. Have a great day, Redeemer, and we will see you again tomorrow.